他的票值这样的也可以理解，就去了 MVP 了，都
委员催票这个策略，
对，委员他跟着他有关系。
Thank you, John. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Mary, for that introduction. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us at Seneca College today, who have been very kind to us to host us here this morning. With more than 5,300 international students currently studying in Seneca from 130 countries, Seneca College has a proud history of welcoming international students from around the world. Before I begin, I'd like to acknowledge that we are on the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of New Credit and the Haudenosaunee. Le gouvernement du Canada croit fermement que les étudiants étrangers profitent à notre pays de nombreuses façons. C'est pourquoi nous voulons faire du Canada une destination de choix pour ceux qui souhaitent obtenir une éducation de qualité. First, we know that international students bring tremendous economic benefits to our country. They contribute approximately $12.8 billion to our gross domestic product and support more than 158,000 jobs. But their contributions to Canada go well beyond that. International students make significant contributions to the schools and the colleges and the universities and the communities in which they reside. The diverse perspectives that they bring to our classrooms enrich the educational experiences of Canadian students. International students also strengthen Canada's people-to-people ties with many other countries that allow Canada as a trading nation to access more markets and build relationships, cultural, educational, and otherwise, with many other countries and societies. Take, for example, Iyunoluwa Samuel Aboyeji, who studied at the University of Waterloo before returning to his home country in Nigeria. He is now the successful CEO of Flutterwave, which is a payment application that is changing the way Africans do business, making it easier for banks and businesses to process payments all across the African continent. The company was acquired by the Canadian Innovation Center in 2013. Another example is Miguel Kudri, who arrived in Canada from Venezuela and studied at Douglas College. Mr. Kudri is the founder of Help Hub, a successful platform that connects students with tutors over video and instant messaging and phone calls. Help Hub now has tutors from 65 countries and students from over 1,200 schools, making it a growing global platform. In 2014, Mr. Kudri was named as one of Canada's future leaders by Maclean's magazine and top 30 under 30 by BC Business in 2016. He has plans underway to launch his new startup, BAN, which will bring mass consumers into digital currencies. So in many ways, international students are the ideal future Canadians. That's because they have Canadian post-secondary education, and in many cases, Canadian work experience. They also speak one, if not both, of our official languages, all of which is a recipe for a newcomer's success in Canada. For these reasons, the government wants to continue to make it more efficient and easier and facilitate international students to come and study, and more continually and more importantly to stay in Canada. And increasingly we're seeing more international students applying from China, India, the Philippines, and Vietnam. To support this growth in applications and to make it easier for these students to apply to come to Canada to study, I'm very pleased to announce today the Student Direct Stream. The Student Direct Stream will provide international students from these 4 countries with the option to receive faster processing of their student permit application. In order to qualify, international students must meet additional requirements, such as demonstrating that they have the financial resources and language skills to succeed academically in Canada. Also, we're already working on expanding the Student Direct Stream to Africa, and we're looking at options in Kenya and Senegal. The proposed expansion to Senegal is more in line with our government's commitment to increase the number of Francophone students coming to study in Canada. The Government of Canada believes that international students are essential to the success and the growth of our economy and the future prosperity of our country. And I thank very much Seneca for hosting us, and I thank for all of you for joining us here today, and I'll be pleased to take any of your questions. Merci.
Why not before the school year ends? Thank you.
We made the announcement today because this is when we were ready to make the announcement. This is something that we've been working on for a long time, and we were making sure that we got all the pieces in place before we made the announcement.
And do we have any other questions from our media on site here this morning?
Well, the people are never wrong. Democracy is great, and I thank all the volunteers and the candidates who put their name forward, who presented different ideas and different perspectives to the Canadian public, and we will work with the new government in Ontario, and we thank all the staff and the public servants who put their names forward to run for re-election. It's not an easy thing to do. But we thank them for their contribution to Canadian democracy, and the people have spoken.
I want to thank you very much. Oh, we got one more question. I'm sorry. Yeah, your name and the organization.
So back to politics questions.
Yes.
A few years ago, when Michael Chang was the Minister of Ontario Immigration, and Jason Kenney was the Federal Minister, they have a problem communicating with each other. So before I need to ask Jason why Michael Chang called you, emailed you to have a meeting, and he didn't get any answer for months. Right now is the Ontario is changing colors. Do you think you will work with the new Ontario Minister of Immigration?
So just for your information, we don't have the same party in power all across Canada. We have different parties in different provinces, and we work very closely with all of them on issues, not just with the immigration and settlement, but on the environment, on issues around pensions, healthcare, and all kinds of federal provincial issues, transportation, and so on. So I don't see that being an issue. I'm committed as much as our government is committed to continue to work with everyone to ensure the prosperity of our citizens, to make sure that we grow our economy, we create prosperity for the middle class and those who are working hard to join the middle class, that we represent Canadians to the best of our abilities at all levels of government, and including the municipal government. We just had the Federation of Canadian Municipalities had the big gathering recently, and even there you see the collaboration that we've had on housing, on transit, on all the other issues, on infrastructure that we continue to have. So I don't see that as being a challenge.
Thank you.
My name is Alex from Chinese Media Minbao, and my question is, you said this program will benefit from the fast processing times. So what time is about?
So I can't speak to that detail, but essentially what the prospective applicant will do is they will demonstrate academic ability, and they will demonstrate financial ability. They will be able to deposit a certain amount of money with a Canadian bank, and through that proof of deposit, they will be able to get a much faster tracked student application process, and through that, hopefully, arrive in Canada faster and start their studies. So it's a way for us to sort of get the basics out of the way and move quicker on that student application once the potential student has demonstrated financial and academic ability to study in Canada.
And one more question over here. Minister, good morning, how are you?
Good morning.
Kyle from Fairchild Television. So the crisis in Quebec regarding to the illegal migrants crossing the border seem to spread to Ontario. Even the mayor of the state of Toronto insisting to ask more funds from federal government. We know that a few days ago you already announced initial fund for the crisis. So is there any further plan to ease the relief for not only Quebec, Alberta, State of Toronto? Is there any other?
So on the issue of folks crossing our borders irregularly and claiming asylum, this is something that we've been engaged in since last year. We've put together a national contingency plan that is regionally specific. We have made sure that each and every person crossing our border undergoes very rigorous security screening to make sure that we continue to protect the safety and security of Canadians. At the same time, we have international obligations. If someone is on Canadian soil and they claim asylum, we have an international obligation to give them due process. But once they're found to be not in need of Canada's protection, they're removed from Canada. Having said that, we recognize that provinces and municipalities, particularly Quebec and Ontario, but to a certain extent last year in Manitoba, they did experience some additional pressures, and we have been engaged in conversations to enable them to grapple with this. And part of my announcement was a signal to them that we're here, we will work with you to reimburse you for those costs, but moving forward we'll continue to work with them. Our officials are working together to put together a triage plan that moves asylum seekers away from Toronto and Montreal and moves them to the regions so that there's less pressure on those cities, and we're working on that system. But we've also increased our own capacity at the border and beyond to be able to be engaged in temporary housing capacity. And we've also made sure that we've worked very closely with the United States as well as the government of Nigeria to reduce the numbers. So if you look at the month of May, the average has come down to about 30 a day. It used to be as high as 80 a day before that. And that's because of our outreach efforts and our work with the Americans. The U.S. has already increased its refusal rate for Nigerian nationals who are most of the people coming in. So this is a multifaceted approach that we have. But of course, we'll continue working with Ontario and Quebec and Manitoba to make sure that we address any future pressures that they may bring forward.
Thank you so much, Minister. And that wraps up this morning's Q&A session. Thank you so much to members of the media. Thank you. Did you get one? Yeah, you got one. You guys want to take a picture?
I need a
there you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.